What is up, Nuggets? It's your boy, Killer Pizza, here with a brand new video for you rascals and rapscallions out there. Joined by my special guest, Benjamin, for this Friday video. I know I don't normally put out Friday videos, but I actually just got done watching the 2022 Hellraiser that came out on Hulu. I actually have to leave for work in 25 minutes, but that's why I'm in my work clothes right now, and I figured, you know what, I'm just going to get on here and talk about this movie real quick. I just have to, or it's going to eat at me all damn day. So first of all, I'll give a little bit of a non-spoiler deal for anybody who hasn't seen the movie yet. First of all, I'll say I recommend watching this movie right away before you even finish this video. I gotta say, my expectations weren't very high for this coming out, but they weren't low at all. I thought it looked pretty good, but this kind of came out of nowhere for me, the Hellraiser movie. I heard it was in production, and it kind of went over my head that they were like so far into it by the time they started putting out the trailers and whatnot. First of all, I will say this movie is shot absolutely beautiful. The characters are pretty fun. Not the best, but they are likable. This does the whole franchise justice, seeing how nothing after part 3 is really any good. This might be the best Hellraiser movie in a very, very long time. Almost, 25 years maybe. Yeah, so like I said, this movie, it's weird to say. So they kind of take their own direction, which is really fun, make it their own, but they really do hold on to a lot of the tradition of like the Hellraiser lore, all while kind of doing it in a simple yet dynamic kind of way. It's really hard to describe. I literally just got done watching this like 10 minutes ago. So with the non-spoiler stuff, yeah, let me just say it was original enough while keeping true to the franchise. Pretty decent characters. Good, good. It was shot good cinematography. Yeah, I mean, the gore was absolutely on point. This is kind of exactly what we needed, a shot in the arm for this franchise. But yeah, I guess I can't give too much that's non-spoilers. I just want to break into this movie, but I'll just say, yeah, almost everything about this movie was really good. I don't have many critiques. I'd say go throw this on. I just bought Hulu for $6. I'm probably going to cancel it after I watch a couple other things. But yeah, into the spoilers, pretty much. The main cast that follows this girl Riley and her kind of like junkie boyfriend. They're both a couple like losers or whatever, she's staying at her brother's apartment with his boyfriend and their other roommate, and the brother's kind of really on his sister to kind of get her shit together, which she's kind of being rebellious and fighting it. So her and her boyfriend, to get some quick cash, he has this idea that he kind of like unloads shipments to certain buildings like art or something like that. And he's seen this shipment that came in, and he knows the code to get in, and they're going to go rob the place and get a couple quick bucks. They bust into this place, break into the safe, and they find the puzzle box. And Homeboy acts pretty disappointed about it, but this girl Riley just finds this like interest in the box. She decides to hold on to it. They're going to split the money, find out how much it's worth, split the cash. She goes home, and she kind of gets into it with her brother. He kicks her out saying she's on drugs and drunk and all that, so she takes off into the streets. And there's this cool moment where she goes to like throw her pills away. I think she throws them on the concrete, but she ends up going back and taking them, and she's got this interest with this puzzle box. She goes onto this little playground or whatnot, starts playing with the box. The blade comes out and almost cuts her, and she starts like hallucinating and seeing Pinhead and some of the Cenobites, but she doesn't know if this is like just the pills fucking with her or whatnot. Her brother ends up finding her passed out, and he takes the puzzle box, grabs it, and it cuts his hand. When he gets her like in a safe place, he goes back into this bathroom to wash his hand, and that's where we realize, like, with this new lore of the puzzle box, it's the same basic deal as all the originals, but it's if the blade cuts you and your blood leaks, that's like the sign for the Cenobites and Hellraiser to come get you, and he's the first victim. And then it goes into, his boyfriend getting mad at the sister and them all fighting, and she gets to the point where she starts trying to research further into what this puzzle box is all about. And that's like finding out who owns the warehouse and finding a woman who name is on the deed and asking her questions about it. Then they end up going to like this big mansion with this like millionaire who's all interested in this puzzle box, which they show kind of in the beginning. She kind of goes into all his stuff to try to dig deeper into the legend of Pinhead and Hellraiser and all this stuff. And that's pretty much the chunk of the movie with slow burns of like information all while kind of carrying along the kills, which is one of the best things about this movie. I know they use CGI in this film. I could just tell in certain scenes, but there was so much good practical effects in this movie. Each one of these kills are absolutely brutal, which is a big enough reason for any of you, anybody who's a weirdo to horror, just like I am, you'll eat this shit up. Actually, I haven't seen body horror like this in a very long time, especially for anything mainstream. I know there's probably some stuff that came out on Shudder that got pretty violent, but this is really, really gory. And all I can think about is some people, younger people maybe, or older, it don't matter, that are kind of into this streaming game that have never seen the original Hellraiser movies. I just wonder how shocked they were, like the imagery of these fucking Cenobites and the kills that they do, because these Cenobites look fucking awesome. There's some pretty cool creative looks. There's even like 2 or 3 Cenobites that don't get introduced to like the last 15 minutes, which is really, really cool. And they're absolutely terrifying. There's one in particular that has like black bleeding eyes. I'm sure you guys have seen like in some of the pictures, which is the stuff of nightmares. There's a scene later where that Cenobite's hands like start ripping in between these fingers, and it turns into like 2 different arms on each limb. There's some pretty creative and cool shit in here. And speaking of these Cenobites, I'll talk about Pinhead alone, which I just seen a photo of the actress that plays Pinhead. It's just funny, pretty attractive woman. I guess you wouldn't expect that with all that makeup on. It looks like a completely different person, but I really like this version of Pinhead. I love Doug Bradley, but this was a great choice. As I said before in the trailer reaction, the original Pinhead in the novel is a woman, so anybody getting mad about that, there's no need to. It's, they're following the original story. And the way this Pinhead is just so like still in all its movement, just like ghost like. The physical acting on this Pinhead is absolutely amazing. I love it. And sorry, my cat's fiddling with the tripod. But yeah, it's crazy. These Cenobites and Hellraiser, great casting on that. Like I said, the Pinhead looks almost ghostly. There's just a couple parts of dialogue towards the end that I don't really care for with this Pinhead, but either way, these Cenobites and Pinhead, even for like the most veteran horror movie fan, this shit will give you nightmares. If your kids watch this movie, I'm pretty sure they're going to have horrific nightmares of these monsters. It's scary shit, and like I said, the kills are unbelievable. There's one where Pinhead pulls the pin like out of her forehead, and it was kind of cool to see how long the pins were, because these pins were like, so that's showing like, I don't know, I haven't seen anything past the third in a long time, if they ever showed the pins being pulled out and like how long they are. Just the thoughts that it's going inside of like the brain that far is like kind of like even more eerie. But Pinhead takes this needle and she's giving this speech about pain to one of the girls that gets killed, and she takes this pin and stabs it through her throat all the way, and they do these couple like shots of like inside the throat of the pin going through. And even for me, I was like, that was hard to watch. It really was gruesome. And yeah, there's a lot of really creative kills like that. Really good practical effects. I'd say one thing is lacking in this, which it isn't a fault to itself, because the serious tone, they use a lot of the music from the original Hellraiser films, which that's kind of something I was getting at. They make it their own, but they have a lot of callbacks, which I appreciate. But I wish there would have been just maybe a little more humor here or there, because it was pretty dark all around the whole movie. There was no laughs or nothing. Serious tone the entire movie. Even from the beginning where they introduced the characters, it's very serious. So like the brother being concerned that Riley's like on drugs and throwing her life away. So maybe I would have given just like a little more lightheartedness. I mean, I guess none of these movies really have that tone. That's something you need to know when getting into a movie like this, that it's just going to pretty much be balls to the walls. We also have another part of the subplot where there's like that millionaire who like is interested in Pinhead and all this, kind of similar to the guy in Hellraiser 2. I think you could have gone without that. It wasn't necessarily needed. It didn't kill it. I'm still not exactly sure where his motive was. It's pretty similar with a lot of these type of characters that are like the evil guy in a Hellraiser, because the Cenobites and Pinhead are never really like evil. They're kind of like how Leatherface just killed out of fear. This is just kind of the dimension that these monsters are in, and this is all they know is, you know, hell, to torture, to make you feel pain. It's always one of these assholes in one of these movies that are trying to like resurrect things and just, you know, control the evil and everything. So he gets his in some gruesome ways. He's got this big robotic part like through his chest beating him, and spoiler right here, it turns out he's kind of in cahoots with the girl's boyfriend. He was supposed to sacrifice his girlfriend to all this for, I'm guessing, some money or something. Like I said, that whole part of the plot was a little weird to me. I didn't understand it completely, so if you understood that a little more, please let me know, because I'm a little confused on that. But yeah, same deals like in Hellraiser 2. Doesn't end well for this guy, which we get a little bit of an Easter egg at the end, which makes me think we're going to get a sequel to this. And if we did, I would be cool with it, because this movie was pretty badass. Like I said, it's pretty much just character development with these people showing who's who. There's not a lot of extra people. There's pretty much the core of like 5 main characters you have through this whole movie. And it's pretty much just like investigating more into the folklore of Hellraiser. And then we kind of get the story of this millionaire who was in the beginning that kind of comes about the third act. So, but with a movie that doesn't have, damn cat, a movie that doesn't have like the most solid plot and like a lot of subplots in it, like a lot of other films do, it's pretty straightforward. It flows pretty good for a 2-hour movie. Normally when a movie's 2 hours, a critique of mine will be you could have cut it by 15, 20, 30 minutes, but no, I enjoyed this. This was incredible. A lot of it has to do with how it was shot. You know, shot very beautifully. This is one of the best shot Hellraisers I can remember. And yeah, like I said, the practical effects are unbelievable. The characters could be better, but at least the lead is pretty good. And I like the sisters, like her brother's boyfriend's a pretty good character. Other than that, the others are pretty forgettable. The imagery of these Cenobites alone, like this around October, Halloween, perfect time for this to come out. This is a fun movie. I watched it, like I said, I work second shift. I watched this at like 2 o'clock, or 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. This would have been great at night. This would have scared the shit out of me to even like get up and use the bathroom. It's kind of got a throwback feel to that this was pretty scary. It had scary moments. The imagery, it was pretty wild. There was this scene at the end, which I'll just give it away. Like I said, spoilers. This millionaire guy gets ripped apart by Pinhead and kind of has the same fate as the guy in part 2. That's the Easter egg. It looks like he's turning into like a Cenobite himself, which is usually how it goes in these films. But they had a scene when this machine like fell out of his chest and he was like huffing and puffing like he's having a heart attack, and then his whole body starts to go. There's like a hole in his chest. You start to see like his spine go back together and his body just reshape and reform. That's some of the best body horror I've seen in a mainstream movie in a long, long time. Like, it looks like they probably reversed it, how they did it. I'm interested to know how they did that, but it was nasty. They showed the skin going back together and all this pus, like, you know, fusing it together. It was just nasty. Something you'd have to see to believe. But yeah, I'm very happy with this film. Now, unlike Halloween Ends, where I hated Halloween Kills, I have this bitterness for that third movie in that little trilogy because I'm just worried it's going to suck ass like the last one did. But for this one, Hellraiser, they've all sucked ass for the most part. So I was very hopeful this movie would be good. And it ruled. This movie ruled. Now watch, I'm going to get a lot of shit for saying I like this movie just like I said I like the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and everyone hated my guts for that. Same like a lot of people got mad when I said I hated Halloween Kills, because I have seen nobody's reviews, nobody's opinions on this yet. Like I said, I watched a different movie last night, which will be coming out tomorrow, Tales of Halloween, which was suggested to me by a viewer. I'm going to do that tomorrow, and I have another video for Sunday, so a packed weekend we got. But like I said, I haven't seen anybody else's reviews for this movie. I loved it. It was enough of a throwback of the original, but it took its own twist and made it its own film. And the quality was amazing. It was shot good. Because, you know, everything past the third, I believe, was straight to DVD, or straight to VHS. And this looked like it had a pretty good budget, like a lot of these originals on these streaming sites do these days. So, yeah, this one was a blast. This one will actually probably scare a lot of you guys. And it's gory. Yeah, like I said, the only critiques I would have is I don't care for that one guy with his subplot enough. I would have liked maybe a little bit of humor maybe in the beginning. and the characters were likable, but I would have honestly liked maybe a couple more characters to be brought in. These movies are always weird because it's like, how do you fight these demons? That's why I like slashers so much, because you can always, a man bleeds, you can always fight another man, but what do you do when you fight a demon? Which is another cool thing I will point out. I honestly don't remember if this was used in previous movies. I don't think so, but it turns out the puzzle box is the weapon to fight the Cenobites. They fight the Chatterbox guy at one point. He's got them stuck in this gate, which the guy they had play that, for one, had to been like 7 foot tall. Very scary. But she stabs him with the puzzle box, and then he gets ripped apart by the chains through Pinhead. So I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. That's the same thing that would sacrifice a human would sacrifice a Cenobite, because all the Cenobites were humans to begin with that got sacrificed. That's how they all got the imagery. At least that's how it goes in the originals. Now I'm gonna feel like an idiot if that's how you could take out these Cenobites this whole time. Like I said, I seen 1 and 2 not too long ago. It's been a while since I've seen any of them besides part 3 after that. But yeah, once again, I love this movie. I thought it fucking ruled. It's just what the doctor ordered for me. I had a lot of fun. I think you guys will like it too. Like I said, if you don't got Hulu, just get it for $6-7, then cancel it when you're done. No big deal. I think it was definitely worth it. I think everyone's going to enjoy this. Let me know what you think in the comments below of this movie if you've seen it. If you got a favorite Hellraiser movie, if you got a favorite horror remake, yeah, just let me know what you guys are watching. If you got any more suggestions for stuff to review, like I said, tomorrow we're going to be doing Tales of Halloween. It might be a little later than noon, probably about 4 o'clock I'll put that out. And then Sunday I have another video, 5 underrated slasher movies I want you guys all to check out, which should be pretty fun. But other than that, I appreciate anybody who watched this video. Give it a like, subscribe, comment, share it, all that fun shit if you like. If not, that's cool too. I'm just glad you stuck around this long into the video. Almost 17 minutes. I figured I'd go a lot longer. But other than that, Blood, Guts, Gore, I'll check you guys next time.